Oh
This
yeah.
this is a computer that I get to carry around with me all day long.
That
And
thing
so
change our lives, man. If you
change the
really think about
lives.
it, bro, you can change your entire life with just that one phone in your hand, man, completely. And the generation of family life.
Bro, I'm not even calling this a phone no more because I think that the phone was the branding, right?
Right.
Like it was branded as a phone because I don't think society would have all felt that they needed a computer, so people wouldn't have bought Apple putting out many computers. So they
Yeah,
had
for
to
sure.
brand it as a phone because people didn't mind going and buying a phone. But
Yeah,
they built the computer and then they called it a phone, and then now you walked around in your pocket, but you only used it as a phone and for entertainment because the initial use of the small Nokia was playing Snake and Tetris and calling
exactly.
people,
But see,
right?
but bro, that's where the mentality part comes into play so much because where one person can look at a phone and utilize it for entertainment and nonsense, another can build an entire empire from the same device, right? And I think that's what the beautiful thing about the time that we live in is, when we talk about equalization, like for myself, I'm a living testimony of it, right? I was a typical statistic. 18 years old, locked up. 21, came home. Felonies on my record. A year later, I had a son on the way. Like literally, you know what I'm saying? Can't even today, if I were to go to the job market and try to find a job as high level as I operate inside my own capacity as an entrepreneur, I wouldn't even be qualified to get a job at
Bro, I feel
McDonald's.
like we should do a show out of that.
I'll probably we should do that.
We should do a show out of that, man. Go see if we can go get a regular job,
Bro, I can
man.
guarantee you, I wouldn't even. I've been turned down for jobs at Sears, at McDonald's, and things of that nature, right? And even though, again, my level of execution, my level of thought process, I've taught, thousands of people at this point, changed thousands of lives in the financial space, changed my own life in the financial space, all from a cell phone. It was that same day I was literally at a job site in the porta potty, and I tell the story all the time. I'm on a porta potty job site with 50 other people who also had cell phones in their pocket, but it was a mentality that allowed me to learn a skill set and use that skill set to make more money from my phone in the porta potty than I did breaking my back on the job site, right? And
Fact.
so when we talk about high level execution and mentality, that literally is the foundational difference. You can educate somebody all day long. I give you all the education in the world, right? But if you don't have the mentality to execute that and the dedication to execute that, it's not going to do you any good, right? And I
Right. I
think
mean,
that's what
think
we're seeing.
about, well, not to cut your wisdom, but just think about that. Like, we go out and we try to buy a lot of things, and the idea of like, yo, the most thing that you need to cop is a new mentality, right? Like I want you to think about it as a commodity, right? And it's the one thing that you're missing that changes your whole life, right?
Yeah,
So you can spend money on everything in the world, but people don't think about spending money on things like a mentality because
mhm.
it's something that can be codified to where it's not just in the air, in the wind. It's when you actually get you the right mentality, whether you're spending time, money, effort, energy, consistency on developing that. Now you have readiness for everything in the world, right? And anything, and this is what y'all need to understand, and this is what I understand the most they never allow nothing to get in the way of you developing the right mentality because it is worth every single penny dollar in the world.
Yep.
You understand me? Because when a man or a woman gets their mind right, now their mind is working and it's damn near impossible to be broke. Now it is impossible to be broke with the
Hmm.
right mentality
Yep.
because if your mind is working, your pockets is working. You
Yep.
understand me? That means that you have flow. You have
Mhm.
something coming in and something coming out. You learn the ability to exchange, yo, whatever I put out, I'm going to get back tenfold
Yeah.
because this is my mentality. So how
Right.
could you go broke if everything you do gives you a return because
Yeah.
you are effective now?
You can never go broke. If you think about the fact that if you, and this was the exact thought that I had that changed my mentality in a single day, right? It was a time where I watched a movie called Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, right? About Gordon Gekko coming home and he lost everything. He was a Wall Street banker, billionaire, got arrested, locked up, came home, and basically within 2-3 years had got himself back to the level that he was at, right? Right or wrong, however he did it, the point of the matter was the thought process was if you take somebody like a Warren Buffett, you take somebody like a Elon Musk, You take somebody like a Jeff Bezos, you take a Jay-Z, you take a Rick Ross, you take any of those guys and you take everything away from them today, right? They're going to find their way back to the top of the pot within a short period of time because of their mentality and the knowledge that they have inside their head. And so for me, it's like, all right, bringing forth, take whatever it is that we know. I was in the trading space, so I brought the trading space to the forefront of our community, right? Because that was a skill set that I knew that changed my life. It could change anybody else's life with the right mentality. But then you have so many people who, after a week, they quit. After a couple of days, they quit. After they take their first loss, they quit, right? And it's the mentality that prevents people from achieving that success because of the fact that they don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the dedication. It's almost like you have emotional intelligence, you have spiritual intelligence, you have social intelligence, all these different types of intelligence, right? But then you also have adversity intelligence, right? How well do you deal with adversity? How well do you deal with being able to take a little bit and turn it to a lot, taking lemons and turn it into lemonade? That's all mentality. And that's something that is missing so far from everything that I see when I look around online and when I look at our culture and our community. It's like nobody's really taking the time out, at least not the people who have already achieved some type of success, to reach back in. All right, it's great about, the education part of it. But the very first step is, how do we adjust the mentality? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
And that to me is so important because mentality is an aspect of Black World Order, but it is a huge one.
Yeah.
Because as I explained earlier, it's like even spirituality, right? Because this is where a lot of people, if you have the right mind, but you don't, and you're not spiritually aligned, then you still gonna feel empty. See,
100%.
the right mindset, the right mentality allows you to do things efficiently, right? But in order to do and live life effectively, you have to be spiritually aligned, because now you're doing what's most important. Because for me, spirituality equals purpose, right?
Yeah.
So now you are actually attached to what you're doing logically, right? Because there's a lot of people that work jobs and they hate their job.
Yeah.
Right? Some people in relationships, logically, it makes sense for you. There's comfort, there's security, but shit, you probably hate your relationship and dislike yourself for being insecure in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's people that are dependent upon things that they're not spiritually connected to, so they don't feel the abundance that you're supposed to feel when you live life and you spiritually aligned, right? So when your spirit doesn't feel like it's expressing itself with the actions that you're taking, now it starts to feel depressed. It starts to feel empty. So you can gain the world material gain, but you're going to lose yourself, because spiritual gain is about fulfillment. How are you filled up by the actions that you take? So when you learn to be spiritually filled, that means that everything you do gives you back energy. So therefore you can never be tired. You can find yourself working on a project and doing something for the rest of your life, because it's never just energy going out. Spiritual fulfillment is energy going out and coming back in. So it's a replenishment. So the mental and the spiritual ideology and mentalities that you're going to develop in BWO is going to be important to course correcting, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why, and I want to go to the physical aspect. Our bro Jay, who shout out to him, is his born day today. Mm-hmm. And he's really going to be teaching a lot in the physical aspect. Big Key's going to be in there too. You know what I'm talking about? But, when you have a strong mind, but your body isn't strong, your mind will be telling your body to do things that will strain it and stress it. So this is what you have to understand. Your mind in your mind, you can run 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah.
You understand me? But your body, like, bruh, you only train me to the capability of 15 miles. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going that far.
And just when it comes to even processing information, you can't really, you're not going to be in your best mind state if your body is not coordinated, right? And that means, that means aerobically, anaerobically, right? Making sure that you got the right oxygen going into your body, into your cells. This is something that I've been slacking on. So I'm looking forward to this part of it, for the most part, because at the end of the day, it's physical fitness, but it's also physical fitness in the terms of being the sharpest, being your most optimal self. And I think that's just the most, the most critical component even when you mention spirituality. The physical side of things is ties to the spirit ties to the mind, and everything works together for you to be able to achieve what it is you're looking for. And even on that note, I'm big on African spiritual. I'm big on connecting with your ancestors. I think that's something that we've been so disconnected from overall, is the ancestral practices, and just knowing that your lineage lives on through you in the physical. You know what I'm saying? Your fathers, your
Absolutely.
grandfathers, your grandmothers, your ancestors you never even knew. That's something that we've all been missing as well, is that every other culture in this world is connected to their ancestors. If you look at the Asian practices, the Latino practices, they got the Day of the Dead where they commemorate their ancestors. They got the Asians who do the same thing. The most we do is pour out a little liquor for the homies, or, put some
Right.
pictures up maybe every now and then, but really, truly, understanding and connected to those practices, it just all ties into, physical, mental, and spiritual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, man. I mean, being able to tap into that, because even when you talk about systems, everybody in all different cultures have different ways they go about money systems, right? So when you can be spiritually and physically and spiritually and mentally sound and fit, but the resources that you gain, right, financially allows you to have a level of freedom that you can't gain without, right? So like even in the Bible, it talks about money. You understand me? And it talks about money being a necessity, right? And Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that part of the definition of heaven is money, good homes, and friendships of all walks of life, right? So owning real estate and land, having relationships with people of all walks of life, connections, you understand me? But also being financially sound. And one of the bigger issues that we face today is economic uncertainty,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
economic uncertainty is when a person don't have job security. They don't even have skill set security because they don't know if their skill set will be valuable in the future.
mm-hmm.
So this uncertainty sets in the mind in the households all around America, and
Yeah,
everybody is not capable of dealing with the stress that is being toted out consistently on the news today. So with that lack of capability, we deal with things immaturely. So we overdrink, we overspend. You understand me? We try to compensate in areas that become liabilities, and they further drag us down into a dark hole, right? And so we no longer have the right environments, and we don't have communities. And that's another thing that's going to be huge on it, is the community sense, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
learning who to build with is as important as what you build, right?
yeah.
Like I've
But
had collaborations and partnerships in the past, and I've built with people that were meant to be lessons so that I could do better in the next phase. Because
yeah,
sometimes God, just like, bro, I got to take you to the dark in order for you to receive the light. So
yeah,
I appreciate it.
yeah,
So like working with you all and with Cheat Code and BWO being powered by Cheat Code, this is an evolution of the program that was once going to be. This is a much bigger vision. This is really
yeah,
us having the technology, the community, the structure, the
yeah,
legitimacy, right? It being passion focused, not being egocentric whatsoever,
yeah,
and making sure that we built this thing out like a college would,
yeah,
right? And making sure that people that get in, because it's a relationship. We're not here to do everything for you. We're here to provide what we're supposed to provide 100%. You
yeah,
do your job, and if the relationship works, then you're
yeah,
going to see abundance on both ends.
yeah. Well,
So
and see,
that's the game.
and so that's why I like the way we structure, this program in general, just because, like when we talk about block world order and blockchain being the foundation of the future, I feel like the way we really, have attacked this and decided to create this program, create this movement is very similar to how the blockchain operates, right? There's different links in the side of a chain, and a chain is only as strong as its links. So the fact that making this an invite only type situation where, the only way to, you know, the only way for people to really kind of continue on past this, I mean, obviously initial point when we first started, being that people, it's only an invite only thing. It's to me, it's something where, as opposed to everybody in the moment just being able to get in and out of a program like that, is it's protecting the culture. You know what I'm saying? It's protecting the culture and ensuring that whatever we build and however we build it is built correctly because what I see so much of is, it's just, people joining stuff because they, it's cool at a particular moment in time. People joining things, just because they want to, whatever it may be, whatever the reasons may be, but they're not actually committed to the actual process and learning process, right? Like that to me is one of the most disappointing parts of anything that we do is when,
Man,
it's like, you know what I'm saying? When it's like, when people just pick things up because it's trending, because whatever it may be, it's like, look, this being something where, each chain in this link is one, it's like one hand feeds the other. You know what I'm saying? It becomes something,
bro.
family becomes a movement. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what I'm most excited about in this whole process,
But look at the time that we living in. Like over this next year, this is really what I want y'all to. Every time I like to do something, I'm like, give us a year, right? In 1 year, a lot can change for a person's life, right? You go on this full 13 moon cycle, right? 12 sun cycle, right? And once you go on that other side of that, that's a door. Now, who you become is very dependent upon what you do and who you surround yourself with. So you can be financially better. You can be more physically fit, right? You can be more confident, a greater communicator. You can have an increased level of skill set, right? You can have an ability at a higher level of life than you have right now. All of the things that you may wish to improve upon yourself, because one of the things that I want everybody to have, right? I want everybody to have a vision for their life. If you don't have a vision, I don't want you around me walking around blind, right? And so if you don't have a vision, then you blind. So one of the things that, I'm gonna make sure that we teach as far as, the first initiation phases of this, right? It's gonna be a lot of, some secret occult knowledge I'm gonna get to y'all. You know what I'm talking about? But it's really about, how you develop these visions and how you make sure that you have the ability to bring them into reality, and concentrating this together and collectively is key, because when you tell other people your vision, then we both become responsible for that vision, not just you.
Exactly.
It doesn't just exist in your mind. And one of the dangerous things about society is that they tell people, don't tell everybody your vision, right? And that's fine, but it's good to tell people that you trust your vision. It is good to sow your vision into the minds, because whether you know it or not, this is how people create and manifest great visions into reality. No vision has ever been manifested in reality staying in the dark. You have to bring it to light. So even having this knowledge of, how do I go step by step by developing a vision? And then this is one of the key things. This is so fun to me, this part. This program of, helping people create these files. We'll call them these black files, right? These black files is basically you doing an ops program on yourself. So what you're doing is you're going to get 4 data sets on every aspect of who you are. Your intelligence type, your personality type, your astrology, your numerology, Kabbalicism, right? Everything that makes up who you are, your ACEs test, a full psychological profile.
Yep.
Now, the importance of this is that each one of us, we're made up of algorithms of thought that make us respond to things, trigger us, think certain ways because of what happened in our, past, and, what is currently happening, what we're dominated by the frequencies in our present. So if we understood what makes us tick, now we know what to go in there and change. Now you know why you have a lack of focus. You know where your insecurities come from. You know why you have certain ceilings and you don't go as far. You know why procrastination creeps up, or you know your strengths and how to double down on those things that make you incredible in the first place. So
real quick, and you understand how to communicate with other minds that are not similar to you. That's one of the most powerful things. When you understand how somebody else's personality traits make them who they are, or even astrology, how that makes them, operate within their ego. You understand how to communicate and how to deal with one another on another level, which is something that's so far missing from our culture, with us dealing with each other in certain kind of lights, right? And being able to communicate effectively without miscommunication or misinterpretation, right? And so that's 100% understanding yourself and others. I mean, it's a powerful thing.